everyone, welcome back to my channel and another bullet journal setup. Let's open this up. Here you can see that I've marked down my January theme, and we can now open up to our February pages. Since it's still January, I've used the elastic band from closing the journal to the page. I apologize for this sped up version, but it makes it easier for you to watch it. I'd like to say that each 2-page spread that you're going to see took roughly 15 minutes to make. Now, here I am doing my lettering. I used a very specific font for this, or invented letters for the font for this. I also have a lot of fun inventing or manipulating the letters to make a matching subtitle font, which I'm finishing up right now. And I'm going to be referring to this as my candy corn lettering. I use this orange and then a yellow for coloring it in, leaving a little bit of white still at the bottom. And then for the subtitle, I do the same thing, but from the bottom to the top. So orange at the bottom, yellow in the middle again, and a little bit of white at the top. I feel like this lettering really matched the theme that I was going for. Starting in now in the illustration, which as always, I marked out with art pencil first, and here is the big theme reveal. First game I ever personally owned, Kirby's Dream Land. So for the coloring of this, which I'm doing now, although I ended up changing the marker for that, there we go, is what it's not actually outlining. Basically, it's kind of, in a sense, the opposite of a drop shadow. I figure out where my shadows are hitting, and I make sure to outline those parts with the color, and this means that the coloring is sped up, and I'm now done with my cover, and I can move on to my quote page, which I'm starting in here. You can see with the same clouds and coloring style. So I really like this coloring style because it allows me to not have big saturated blocks of color, but still get the message across. Now, the quote that I've chosen for this month isn't really a quote as much as a note to self that is inspired by Kirby. And it says, when faced with a challenge, take a deep breath. And I'll be doing the illustration here on this page in just a moment. You can see I went with the flying Kirby version. Now, while my memories of Kirby are not in color, I'll get more into that later. I really just needed to make Kirby pink. And there we go. Finished quote page, and we're moving on to my 2-page calendar. So for this calendar, I decided not to do the full theme of the month, but just the 3 letters, and I'm doing the illustration first. I thought of doing this with, if you've played it, the tree guy. It's not so much I guess the Lord of the Rings terms would be an ant, but it's this tree that shoots out wind and apples fall, and I use those apples and wind puffs in a minute as my icons for the days, but right now you can see I'm putting in my little goal of the month markers. I wanted to get back into my crocheting, which maybe I'll show here someday. So I'm drawing in a little ball of yarn. And seriously, how satisfying is February with this Sunday start? Wow. And checking that I have all of my dates right. And we're done with the calendar. I'm moving on to the mood tracker. For my mood tracker, I thought it would be so cute if I had kind of a Kirby every single day that I could draw in his expression with how I felt and maybe add a little something if there's a special thing to my mood, which is what I'm doing here. I drew 28 Kirby's and little icons for my moods and what I call bonus moods, like be tired or whatever. And I colored these in because they're pretty small, and I'm not planning on coloring in the Kirby's, so it won't be too overly saturated. Now I'm moving on to my habit tracker. For my habits, I decided to draw in the little birds from Kirby, each one holding a sign with the habit on it. And I'm just going to make little marks next to it for each day that I do the habit. And I thought that for the bottom, where I had space, I'd draw in the little round running characters from the game and color them in that same outline style. And then I realized I used the orange for the birds. Oops, but there's the lettering, it's all done. And we can move on to the weeklies. As I did last year, I alternate between two designs and I set up all of the weeklies up front. So this one had the candy corn lettering and some small doodles. I'm using the stars for my takeaway. A couple small doodles in the edges, and it's done. For my next weekly layout, this one was a bit more doodle intensive, so I really pared down the font and some non-Kirby doodles. And by that I mean not Kirby himself, some other things from the game. And I tried very hard to get the font to match the in mountains from the game. And just coloring it in a bit. And I really like how this ended up. So now we go through pouring the steps through. This just made me so happy. Gave me all of those nostalgic vibes of coming home from school and turning on my Gameboy. Not the color one, the classic one. And play Kirby. If you have an idea for a game and upcoming months, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you next time.